Hey there, food family. It's the Oklahoma Food Dude. And today we're going on the hunt for flavor. Meet the Bacon Wrapped Bandit, wanted in all 77 Oklahoma counties for just being too dang tasty. This outlaw meatloaf is bold, it's smoky, and wrapped up in bacon like a true desperado. But don't worry, partners, I didn't forget my veggie loving friends. I've got a meatless option riding right alongside and still able to fill your plates with plenty of flavor. Two loaves, one kitchen. Let's wrangle up some meatloaf, Oklahoma style. Now let's get this bandit behind bars of the oven. So let's get started on these two meatloaves. Now we're making two 2-pound meatloaves. One beef with grass-fed beef wrapped in hickory smoked bacon. We're going to also make the other one with a meat substitute. But the only thing that's going to be different beyond that point is how we season it and how we treat it. In the meat one, we're going to use a little oyster sauce and a little Lee & Perrins Worcestershire sauce. We then, in both of them, we're going to use ketchup. We're going to use a little A1 sauce in the meat alternative to give it a little bit more of that beefy flavor. But we're going to use oatmeal, old-fashioned rolled oats, salt and pepper. We've got 2 peppers, some rosemary seasoning that's going to get cut up and go into it, and 4 eggs, 2 for each loaf. Let's get started mixing up the beef. So we're going to start out by seasoning this beef. Now this is good quality grass-fed beef that is 80-20. I'm going to season it with a mixture of salt and just regular black ground pepper. You can use fresh ground or table. I like to season meat pretty liberally. Okay, so we're now working on the meat substitute that we've done. Now, everybody asks me, how do you season meat substitute so it has flavor to it? I treat it very much like regular beef, chicken, whatever substitute I'm using, but it needs a little extra seasoning. It needs sometimes different types of seasoning that triggers the thought of meat. In this case, because Miss Food Dude loves meatloaf, and she hated it as a child, but she loves my vegetarian version, I take and add a little A1 steak sauce. Believe it or not, it is vegetarian, and it triggers her thought process, remembering when she used to put it on steak and roast and those kind of things. So it's a good beefy flavor for her to remember. We're just going to take and mix this up. In here, I've also, in both the regular beef and the meat alternative, I have clipped 2 long sprigs of rosemary with a pair of scissors to get them going. Now I'm going to introduce 2 eggs into each one of the bowls. And what do you use eggs and meatloaf for? Well, we're introducing them as a binder to hold all of this together while it's cooking. So 2 eggs into each one. Then I'm going to add about half of the oatmeal that I have, probably a half to 3/4 of a cup in there. And again, that acts like a filler and a binder. It's the way my mother taught me to do it. Her mother did, my grandmother did it, and we put it in there, and it gives it some great texture in the meatloaf. We're going to do the exact same thing to the beef. We're going to add the 2 eggs. We're going to add, instead of A1, we're going to add oyster sauce and Worcestershire sauce and the 2 eggs. Now we're working with the ground beef, again, the 80-20. We're going to put that same amount of oats in here. We're going to add a good couple of squirts of tomato ketchup. And why tomato ketchup? Just starts out that meaty kind of flavor, and it also brings moisture into the beef. We're going to add the 2 eggs for binder that we added in the meat substitute. Okay, now we're back to the meat alternative. And again, Mrs. Food Dude likes things sort of spicy. On top of the Oklahoma Food Dude, we always try to put peppers in there that she likes spicy. We're also going to give it the 2 squirts that we gave the meat. And the other seasoning I put in here that we didn't get on camera was a little bit of paprika. And we've got a recipe you can follow up with to give you the approximate measures that we do on each one of these. But again, it goes back to what you like and how you like it, whether you like it spicy or not spicy. So we're going to take and mix this up and get it ready to put into the oven. Okay, now this bandit is a bacon wrapped. The real meat side of this is a bacon wrapped, and I do a lattice. Now, was this something that came from my heritage, my grandparents? I don't know that for sure, but bacon was important because of the bacon fat. That adds flavor. So what we've done is I have laid bacon down in alternating orders in laid strips, alternate them just like you do a cake lattice. So we'll lay this one down. We're going to flip the alternating layers over, and now we have this beautiful lattice mat of bacon. We're going to then put our mixture on the top of it, lift it up, put it inside of its roasting pan, and shape it and form it in its final version at that time. Okay, now we're gonna attempt placing the ground burger that we've seasoned, that's gonna be our meatloaf, right in the middle of our bacon wrap. Now remember, this will be the bottom side of the container. And I like my meatloaf to stand up and be a true loaf because I love, best of all, meatloaf sandwiches. So we're gonna do it in a cake-like form like that. We're gonna wrap this over, wrap this over, wrap this over, wrap this over. We're gonna try to put it in this pan. Now we can always reshape it afterwards. We're going to tuck that up underneath each other. And we get this beautiful, tuck that bacon up underneath there so it doesn't curl up. We've got this beautiful bacon lattice wrapped country meatloaf. Okay, look at these two uncooked, beautiful meatloaves. We've got the beef, which is 80% beef, 20% fat. We've wrapped it even in more fat. Remember, it is a bandit. We want it to be an outlaw and what's normally done. And then we've got its sidekick, the Veggie Bandit, that is a meat alternative cooked and prepared almost exactly the same way, other than the Worcestershire sauce is not in there and the oyster sauce is not in there. So it's now time to drop them into the oven, put them behind the bars so it can cook. We're going to create a tomato pasty kind of sauce for the very top. That's the way my family always loved it. That's the way my generation of my parents and grandparents cooked it. So we've got 1 6-ounce can of tomato paste. To that, we're going to add about, I don't know, 1/3 or 1/4 of a cup of ketchup. And this is important. This is a good balsamic vinegar glaze, a little bit thicker version. We're going to add, I don't know, 3 or 4 good swigs of that. Probably that ends up being almost a full tablespoon, maybe a little bit more. And we're going to mix that up. We're going to place that right on top. Spread it around. As it cooks, it'll become a little more liquid, and it will run down the side just a little bit and give that tomatoey flavor when you cut into it. Now we're going to do the exact same thing to the meat alternative side of it. We're going to put that on there. That adds a little bit more moisture to it. It gives it that great tomato flavor when you're cutting into it and eating it. I'm going to end this off. And again, you don't want to cut this down by half if you're only going to do one of these versions. And then what we're going to do is layer bell peppers, are the sort of traditional topping that goes on top of this. We're going to lay them across this. They cook in and again give a nice peppery taste to the meatloaf when you cut it and eat it as slices. We've got the oven turned on. It's been preheating at 375 degrees. These are going to go in there and cook about 45 minutes. I always suggest that you use a meat thermometer to check the internal temperature. You want about 155, 160 degrees on the meat side, and again about 120, 130 on the meat alternative side, just to make sure any of the additives that we put into it need to be cooked at a decent temperature. In the oven they're going to go. Okay, we're going to put the bandits in a 375 degree oven. This bandit right here, the Bacon Wrapped Bandit, is going in behind the bars at 375 degrees till it confesses that it's delicious. Come on back. Well, let's check on that Bacon Wrapped Bandit to see what's up. He's been behind bars. Pull him out. Oh my goodness. He looks like he's done. All right, food family, we've taken this Bacon Wrapped Bandit out of the oven. Let's see what he's got to say. Looks like he pleads to be an absolutely delicious. Join us next time when we bring you more of that Oklahoma soul.